Namaste. Greetings to the teachers in Nepal. Nice to meet you. I'm Hwang Jimin from Korea, working at Suwon Kumho Elementary School. I am the instructor who will cover the theory part of the ICT using teaching method training today. I hope that my lecture will help you to strengthen your capabilities as a teacher. Let's check the contents. At the introduction stage, I will check the background of the topic chosen for this lecture and today's learning objectives. At the development stage, first, I will introduce the theory TIM basically. Second, I will arrange practical utilization procedures into 4 steps. At the wrap-up stage, let's summarize today's contents and then check what I want to emphasize. At last, I will notice the next time's content. So, let's start. If you try ICT classes at school, you will have exciting experiences meeting new tools and equipment. It is always different and enjoyable to experience and use these new tools and devices educationally with students. For example, if you use a device called a Chromebook and lead a class where students collaborate with Google Documents, quiz, maps, etc., or share and co-work documents in real time, students who could not be realized with traditional teaching methods will show you incredible achievements and outputs. In this point, we have to think, where are the students' immersion and performance based on? Is my lesson design correct? Among most teachers who deal with ICT classes, there are few teachers who study and apply theoretical aspects related to ICT lessons. As a lecturer, I neither did not think about looking into the theory because at first I was engrossed in the practical aspect of applying new and attractive tools directly to my class. It is a big mistake to think that the theory is the only domain of scholars, unrelated to the school field. In particular, in the case of ICT class, which require various equipment to be used as tools, it is necessary to understand the related theories. Otherwise, it will be difficult for teachers and students in the classroom to answer for themselves why I am using these tools. So, today's objective is ICT class design method using TIM. In this lesson, I would like to introduce a useful theory that teachers can refer to when designing a class using ICT. This theory was presented at Florida Center for Instructional Technology and is called the Technology Integration Matrix. From now on, it will be abbreviated as TIM. For more detail, you can visit the website below. This TIM presents 5 levels of technology integration according to the 5 characteristics of the learning environment. Let's take a closer look at the table by dividing it into rows and columns. In the vertical line, there are 5 levels: entry level, adoption level, adaptation level, infusion level, transformation level. Let's take a look one by one. At the entry level, the teacher begins to use technology tools to deliver curriculum contents to students. Activities may include listening to or watching content delivered through technology, or working on activities designed to build fluency with basic fact or skills such as drill and practice exercises. In a lesson that include technology use at this entry level, the student may not have direct access to the technology. Decisions about how and when to use technology tools, as well as which tools to use, are made by the teacher. At the adoption level, the teacher directs students in the conventional and procedural use of technology tools. At this level, technology tools are used in conventional ways. The teacher makes the decisions about which technology tools to use and when and how to use it. Student exposures to individual technology tools may be limited to single types of the task that involve a procedural understanding. In adaptation level, the teacher facilitates students in exploring and independently using technology tools. The teacher incorporates technology tools as an integral part of the lesson. While the teacher makes most decisions about technology use, the teacher guides the students in the independent use of technology tools. Students have a greater familiarity with the use of technology tools and have a more conceptual understanding of the tools than students at the adoption level. They are able to work without direct procedural instruction from the teacher and begin to explore different ways of using the technology tools. At the infusion level, the teacher provides the learning context and the student choose the technology tools. At this level, a range of different technology tools are integrated flexibly and seamlessly into teaching and learning. Technology tools are available to meet the needs of all students. Students are able to make informed decisions about when and how to use different tools. The instructional focus is on student learning and not on the technology tools themselves. For this reason, infusion level work typically occurs after teachers and students have experience with a particular technology tool. The teacher guides students to make decisions about when and how to use technology. At the transformation level, the teacher encourages the innovative use of technology tools and facilitates higher order learning activities that may not be possible without the use of technology. Students use technology tools flexibly to achieve specific learning outcomes. The students have a conceptual understanding of the tools coupled with extensive practical knowledge about their use. Students apply that understanding and knowledge, and students may extend the use of technology tools. They are encouraged to use technology tools in unconventional way and are self-directed in combining the use of various tools. The teacher serves as a guide, mentor, and model in the use of technology. In the horizontal line, there are 5 characteristics of the learning environment: active learning, collaborative learning, constructive learning, authentic learning, goal-directed learning. Let's analyze each one in detail. Active characteristics. Students are actively engaged in using technology as a tool rather than passively receiving information from the technology. This characteristics makes the distinctions between the lesson in which students passively receive information and the lessons in which students discover, process, and apply their learning. Student engagement is a key component of active learning. As collaborative characteristics, students use technology tools to collaborate with others rather than working individually at all times. These characteristics describe the degree to which technology is used to facilitate, enable, or enhance student opportunities to work with peers and outside experts. This characteristics considers the use of conventional collaborative technology tools, as well as other kinds of technology tools that assist students working with others. At constructive characteristic, students use technology tools to connect new information to their prior knowledge rather than to passively receive information. These characteristics describe learner-centered instruction that allows students to use technology tools to connect new information to their prior knowledge. This characteristics is concerned with the flexible use of technology to build knowledge in the modality that is most effective for each student. At authentic characteristics, students use technology tools to link learning activities to the world beyond the instructional setting rather than working on decontextualized assignment. This characteristics involves using technology to link learning activities to the world beyond the instructional setting. These characteristics focus on the extent to which technology is used to place learning into a meaningful context, increase its relevance to the learner, and tap into students' intrinsic motivation. At goal-directed characteristic, students use technology tools to set goals, plan activities, monitor progress, and evaluate results, rather than simply completing assignments without reflection. This characteristic describes the way in which technology is used to set goals, plan activities, monitor progress, and evaluate results. These characteristics focus on the extent to which technology facilitates, enable, or support meaningful reflection and metacognition. There are 25 intersections of the columns and rows described above in this table. It is good for teachers to design a class after deciding which aspect you want to choose out of these 25 types. These 25 types show a pattern. If you draw an invisible line on this table, the upper types are distributed at the lower order thinking level, and the lower types would be at the higher order thinking level. This graphic will help you understand the overall feeling of this matrix. In order to use TIM effectively, it is good to follow the procedure below. First, check the lesson goals. The teacher must first determine what the lesson objectives are. Also, check whether there are any special things to be considered in the subject. For example, the teacher considers whether it is necessary to move to a special classroom, or whether there is a dedicated workbook, or whether it is a subject that has been taught a lot in a team. Second, Confirm effective class form and environment. The teacher think about the most effective class form and how to structure it to achieve the lesson goal. Whether it will be effective to experience some stuff individually, whether it is effective to conduct cooperative activities in groups, or whether to learn the basics of new concepts within the textbook, or to research and reprocess or use data in real society beyond the textbook, and whether it will be used as evaluation material. It is necessary to identify and determine the most effective form and environment of the class. At this stage, the characteristics, which is the vertical line of the TIM, is determined. Third, plan specific tools and activities. After confirming the characteristics, the specific ICT tools are determined and how to use the tools is designed. At this time, the level of using ICT tools expected of students should be clear. Teachers must know what level the students are involved in terms of figuring out how to use technical tools. Accordingly, it is necessary to clearly define the level of ownership which the teacher wants the students to have. At this stage, the level, which is the horizontal line of the TIM, is determined. Fourth, review the type and detailed guidance draft. When characteristics and levels are determined, you can find their intersection. Design a class by identifying the type, the intersection, and checking the descriptors of teachers, students, and instructional settings. Finally, write the detailed guidance plan on how to introduce, develop, and wrap up the class. Following these 4 steps will help design and apply ICT using classes with TIM. Of course, reflection after your class is an essential process. I hope you do a few design exercises. So far, we have studied the principle and meaning of the technology integration matrix, the TIM. Also, we practiced how to use TIM effectively when planning ICT using lessons. It is clear that the key word of ICT using classes is students. Before designing a class, it is important for teachers to understand the students' prior experience and the level of digital competence. This means not only understanding the ability of each student, but also understanding the level of the class as a whole. Teachers should consider the categories of activities based on the students' identified competences. At this time, teachers should use TIM to select the most appropriate teaching model for their class. If you find a suitable type in the matrix, you will be able to figure out the role of teacher and the appropriate conditions for setting up the equipment. If you often try to make up the ICT using lessons, the teachers themselves will be interested in new programs and devices more and more, and the opportunities to access them will increase. If you do, you can bring the equipment to class with the goal of simply using it without consideration of the educational point of view. However, the setting of ICT tools should never be given as priority. That is, the desire to use certain equipment should not be given priority. Neither the functional part that the teacher wants to do or show should not be given priority. In other words, all ICT tools should not be an end in itself. It should be used as a means that must be selected well accordingly to the purpose of the class and the situations of the students. To this end, I hope that this TIM, the Technology Integration Matrix, will be an effective guide for you. Next time, you will learn about the types and usage of various programs that are frequently used in ICT using classes and learn their skills. I hope that you learn various tools and think about what purpose you will use them for in your class rather than just using them without educational consideration. Well, then this concludes today's lecture. I hope this lecture will help you and thank you for your attention. Finally, I'd like to say goodbye in Nepalese. Namaste, Subadin.